What's up? I'm trying to look for my. Oh, it's right here. My lighter. Anyway, what's up? What's up? So, we gonna discuss what we were seeing in part 4 of Kevin Samuel's "Can Modern Women Afford Equality?" There was a lot of good things that everyone was saying that I would love to talk about. So let's get it right into it. With his first question.
When I say feminism, what do you think feminism? What do you think feminism means?
Escaping the classic gender roles and like how she says, "Oh, I don't feel like I have to be married with kids."
What do you think feminism means?
Pride in being a female and what you're capable of.
Like breaking traditional gender roles that maybe fit then but might not fit in today.
It's about equality. It's about not being like under, like how women earn less, whatever.
All 4 of these girls do not know what feminism is. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that none of these girls knew what feminism was. Feminism, what Kevin Samuel says, is choice. Choice. Believing that females should have free choice, freedom, the same freedom as us to choose how to live your life on your terms, right? Why? Because for years and centuries, women were treated as furniture. They weren't given choice. They weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to work certain jobs just because they were girls. They weren't allowed to do a lot of things just because they were girls. So, feminism is about choice. It was always about choice, giving you the right to choose. It's not equality, which is what we get into next.
Okay, so we're not equal or we are equal?
Before he even continues, let me school you for real quick. Equality was always taught in school, meaning the same, right? Remember when we had to do like 3 is greater than 1 with the sign, and then the equal sign was 3 is equal to 3 because they're exactly the same. That is true equality, you know? Like, for example, in the case of segregation, black people were not treated equally to white people, right? In that case, they are different races, but they're all human, and they were not treated like humans, therefore not equal. Men and women, different category now that we're getting into, are completely different. Males have one biology, females have another biology. Men are naturally born strong, physically strong. Women, no. Men are naturally warm-blooded. Women, not so much. They're always cold. Meaning like blood flow, temperature-wise. Women can have kids. Men can't. You see, these are differences. So, men and women can never be equal because men and women think differently. They have different biologies, different chemistries, different capabilities physically, sometimes emotionally, and all the time mentally. You get me? We may have similarities, commonalities, things that we like, things that we share, things that we enjoy together. However, we will never be equal, though we are treated equal. You get the difference there? Because you have freedom. We both have freedom to choose how to live our life, men and female. But me and you will never be equal. Not in the way that we think, not in the way that we do things or approach things or just our physical aspects. You get what I'm saying. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. Anyway, let's continue.
Just in
You're
general.
saying equal in opportunity?
Like what aspect?
Do you want to be equal?
I feel like Kevin Samuels should have realized at this point with these girls' answers that he should have explained the definition of equal, just like I did a few seconds ago. So here I feel like I said, he tends to be very harsh. Like I've said in my other videos, he's a little bit harsh. Like he doesn't have enough patience. So I feel like he should kind of like guide them instead of kind of like making them. I feel like by him not guiding them a little bit more, it's making these girls look like idiots.
You do?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
I don't think women.
You are for a world where women are 51% of the suicides, 51% of the homeless, 51% of the frontline troops, 51% of the coal miners, 51% of all the dangerous jobs.
Here he makes a very good point. Like I said, freedom of choice. That's feminism, and you have that. You have freedom of choice. But you know what's the thing with women? They'll most likely not choose jobs that are hard, that most men do because they're strong, like construction. You don't really see a lot of women in the construction force. The majority of the construction force are men. That is common sense. You don't even have to look that up statistically, and even if you did, you'll see it. That most dangerous jobs, most jobs with a lot that needs a lot of physical abilities, the ones who are doing the heavy lifting of those jobs are primarily men. So when he's talking about equality, he's absolutely right. What kind of equalness do you really want? Are you understanding what equal really means? Because in most of my relationship with girls, they made me walk to the store because they didn't want to almost all the time, just because I was least tired because I'm strong. Always carrying bags of groceries, more bags than them. I'm the one who will climb the stairs 4 times so that you can only do it once. You know, so if you have the baby, because I have a son, when I was with his mom, I did all the heavy lifting just because I was the guy. Moving the bed, moving the furniture around for you so you can decorate. You know, men don't naturally expect that from women. So how equal are we, really? You know, what's your perspective on equal now, when women have a natural expectation of men to do the heavy lifting because we're men? Which is why men naturally think of women to be laid back. Don't worry, baby, I got this, because we like showing these guns. You know what I mean? We like showing our backs and showing you how strong we are. That is what makes us men. Just like we like you looking pretty and sexy and at the same time loving and touching me and caressing me, making me feel loved, giving me that motherly love, you know? That's another topic we can get into. How when you have kids, the love transfers. Women forget about their man once they have a son. They give most of their love to their son, and they forget that they have a husband or a boyfriend that they have to continually also keep giving love and compassion and nurturing, because we're still doing all that heavy lifting. We're still going and making that money so you can stay home with the kids because you want to do that. I didn't force you. I said we could get a babysitter. We can get a nanny. Nah, I don't want nobody influencing my kids. I want to be there for them. Okay. But then what happens? We go to work, we bust our ass, and then we go back home to what? You being tired. You need a massage. All right, baby. I'll massage you. I'll give you a massage. I'll cook for you. Don't worry, baby. I got it. I know you tired. You with the kids all day. It's okay. I'm strong. Even though I just worked 10 hours in construction, lifting fucking 50 sheets of sheetrock up and down the stairs. I got you. That's how we are. And then what happens? A lot of those relationships fails because what? You promise to be like, don't worry, baby, I'm gonna give you a little something special. And then when the night comes, the baby's asleep, you knock the fuck out. Enough said.
Don't want to feel like I need to be alone. I absolutely want a relationship.
Okay. Well, that's one thing I don't understand today with so many. What's wrong with needing somebody?
I feel like when you need somebody, then, like, in my experience, needing someone, what happens when that person is no longer there? Now you're in a state of still needing. You know, I wouldn't want to be, left hanging in that sense. I'd rather feel secure knowing that that person that I'm with, that I'm comfortable with, that we get together, whatever, say it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out, or they pass, something happens and they die. I would like to be able to hold everything up still and not feel like.
Well, in relationships today, with like divorce rates, breakups, women are filing 80 to 90% of the divorce actions. So what I'm hearing is you don't want to be disappointed.
Notice how she says, I want to feel secure, blah, blah, blah.
I'd rather feel secure knowing that that person.
Secure. So when he says disappointed, he's absolutely right. Kevin Samuels nails it when he says, you don't want to be disappointed. Because, you know, maybe a lot of guys won't admit this, in your opinion. However, I will. As much as I've been independent by myself, I've always needed people. Yes, I've gotten to mindsets where I've convinced myself that I don't need people because I was in these periods of depression, because I have been disappointed many times. I kind of got to a point in my life where I realized that the truth is that it is in our human nature to need people. And obviously, I need people. Maybe in this current time of my life, I don't chase people. I'm kind of just moving forward, hoping that I find new people that actually care about me, because everyone in my life right now does not. And that's just simple fact. And we can go into a deep conversation about that in my personal life in another video, or see some of my vlogs. However, being disappointed is understandable. You can't say that. As I feel like men and women have to stop with this I don't need anybody type of attitude, you know. Obviously, like, she talks about how, like, she doesn't want to be in a situation where she's left with like a burden. But it's like, why are you with someone who would do that to you? Right? And that's the thing. You guys have the freedom of choice, but what are you choosing? What are you choosing? Just like men have to take responsibility for some of the crazy women that we've dated, some of the betrayals that we've gone through, we learn from our mistakes, which is why we're the ones who choose who we marry. We may fuck you, but it doesn't mean that we're going to want you, because if you give it up, who's going to say no? Who's going to say no? We're all sexual beings. Come on. We're all adults. Let's be real. If we get a vibe, you cool and stuff like that, maybe there's things about you that I wouldn't want a wife, but maybe we get a vibe and shit like that. If that vibe was enough for you to give it up, I'm gonna take the opportunity, because I'm a horny person. Like, I'm not like other dudes. I just play it off and fucking lie. No, I'm a real one. Like, I'll tell you what it is. You know, but if I already get the pussy before we even get to the conversation of whether or not I want a relationship with you or something else, then that's not my fault. That's you. You chose to open your legs to me. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I've slept with bad people too, or people who didn't want me or want things the way that I want them. But we have to take responsibility for that, instead of having these dumb attitudes of I don't care and I don't need anyone. You get me?
Human beings are social creatures. We need one another. In the worst prisons in the world, what is the worst punishment you can give somebody other than death?
Solitary confinement.
Thank you.
This is so fucking true. So true. I've seen it in movies. I've researched it myself. I used to be a military cop, so I've talked to people. I know things. I know people who've gone to jail, and solitary confinement is the most horrendous, horrible thing. Like, people don't understand what true loneliness feels like because they take things for granted. They want instant gratification. They don't understand that loneliness kills. It drives a person insane. It could change them. It can turn them into a serial killer, a sociopath. When you're neglected and nobody's there for you and like nobody cares about you, like, that is loneliness. So to say that we don't need people that's another emphasis on why we do need each other. Friends, family, but people don't understand that because people don't want to compromise. They want you to live by their rules all the time. You know, we don't live in this type of world where one person in the group can be dictator and conqueror. No, you know. In my case, that's what I deal with. Like, my family has their own perspective, and like if I don't believe in their perspective, then, you know, fuck my feelings. You know, yes, I talk to them. Yes, they're sweet here and there, but they're not there for me. They don't support me. They're not. They don't care. If I was to die today, my mom wouldn't know for like probably a month. That's how alone my life is.
When I have the responsibility of having a man catering to him, it's a task. It's another task.
Okay.
I agree 100%.
Is it a worthwhile task?
Absolutely.
like
If
that's
I'm happy,
something-
yeah.
If you're happy, happiness is a choice.
These girls missed this. However, I didn't. Happiness is a choice. As someone who has been suicidal, gone through trauma, insecurities, like childhood trauma, military trauma as well. I have forms of PTSD and major depressive disorder. And the reason that I'm positive right now and doing my show, and yeah, I may be woofing it right now because I don't got no money for the barber, but the reason I'm keeping a positive mindset is because I'm choosing to love myself more than being angry or sad or regretful or disappointed about the things in the past. So happiness is a choice. I'm choosing to be happy right now. Happy with you. Watching Kevin Samuels talk to these ladies and schooling them on relationships. You know what I mean? This is a choice, baby. It's a choice.
Ultimately looking for like long term. Like when I date, like it's not to be just doing it. It is to like for marriage.
Is that what he wanted? Nope.
No. And
So-
that's why it didn't work. Because after a while,
So when I often hear women talk about relationships in such ways, they're not dating with intention.
they're not dating.
No, you're not dating with intention.
I feel like it's mutual.
No, you're not dating with intention. A man cannot make you date him. You choose women choose who has access, who has sex and who gets born. Men choose who gets married. But you guys choose who you deal with.
This point right here is so true. Look how these girls were answering. You had missing number one talking about how she didn't feel as big.
Sometimes I feel like I am less focused on. I'm less big.
As big. But when she was single, she felt like she could make more money. And like, you know. Then the other one, missing number two.
They wanted me to not do certain things, not act a certain way, not work as much, or woo, 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 woo.
You do want your.
And here Kevin Samuels comes and be like, oh, but you're not dating with intentions. Intentions. Because he makes the point that you are the one who chooses. Like I was saying. You choose. Not us. I ain't no sicko. I ain't gonna force you. You choose. You choose who you take seriously or not. You choose what you want. And everything technically revolves around you. So it's like, who's really catering to who? You know? So like, these women cannot be upset. They can't be upset because you just haven't read enough books. You gotta read some books. I always tell my ex, you gotta read some books. Some self-help books, some relationship books. You gotta understand us the way that we try to understand you. Well, at least I try to understand you. You know, I've done it for years. And when he makes the point of we choose who we marry, he right again. You know, because I came from a Christian background, I took relationships very seriously after I lost my virginity at 18. I wanted to get married, have kids. I was serious because I was going to the military. And, you know, I was looking for love, for someone to share my life with because I had Christian values back then. And the women that I dated, and I say dated plural, because every girl who ultimately I ended up, because I was a lover, I was a lover boy, so I proposed to a lot of girls. And like, they weren't dating me. They weren't with me with intention. They were all over the place. Not knowing what they wanted, changing their minds, cheating on me, lying to me, not washing the dishes, not learning how to cook, not trying to plan a career or trying to do something with their life. They weren't doing none of that. So I got married once and divorced once, and after that I was like, I'm not getting married again because I don't believe in the Christian values of marriage. I believe in marriage, but I don't believe in the Christian values of marriage. I believe in true marriage, partnership, and understanding, a compromise that we're stuck together for the rest of our life because we know we belong together. We want the same things. You know? That's how I think, and I'm a man. And that's why, yeah, I'll fuck around if I'm presented with opportunities to have sex with beautiful women, and I'll treat them like queens. But if they're not everything I want, I'm not gonna marry them. I'm not gonna marry again until I find the right queens. And I say queens because I'm polyamorous. I want 3 wives. That's just me. I have my own reasoning.
It makes you less than or less big. Is it the relationship? Or is it the original problem that you weren't dating with intention and finding somebody that you were compatible with? See, oftentimes when you talk about relationships, you talk about the stuff that doesn't work. We all pick who we deal with. What I'm hearing, and I want you to tell me, do you hear the same thing? I'm hearing you guys talk about relationships in terms of fear, scarcity, lack, which tend to end up in some sort of anxiety or stress.
That is so true. And I feel like a lot of this is because of daddy issues, the trauma that we go through. Because one thing that I don't think Kevin Samuels is making apparent or obvious is if whether or not he understands that the reason that these women think like this, and so many of us have made the same mistakes and thought this way as well, is because of our upbringing, our culture, our society, our environment. All these factors affect the way that we think, the way that we approach life, And if society is, if your parents aren't teaching you what relationships are and what they're meant for and how to go about it, and then your teachers are not doing it, and your aunts are not doing it, or your friends are not doing it because obviously their parents are not doing it, and like society is not doing it. If no one's doing it to help you through while you're growing up and making all these choices, obviously we're going to get to this point right now where Kevin Samuels is talking to all these women who are ignorant. But Kevin Samuels himself is ignorant in a way because his approach to this conversation should be a little bit more lenient in instructing. What's the word? Construction, not criticism. Constructive or constructive criticism. I don't know. Like, I feel like he should be guiding them a little bit more. That's what I would do. If I was having this conversation, I would be a little bit more softer and guiding them into understanding why their way of thinking is flawed. Not wrong, but flawed. I don't think it's wrong because this is their truth. This is the truth of these girls, you know? And everyone has their own experience, which is why this topic is just so important to talk about. And that's why I'm doing this video, so that we can educate each other. You know, I got you.
What is ultimately being communicated to men? I don't want to need you. You really don't impact my life when I'm with you. If it's not necessarily as big, it's not good, I'm not as big. So what are modern women ultimately telling men that you want from them? You don't even want to live with him.
No.
You want to have you want to have children with, you want the kids, but you don't want him.
Yeah.
That's crazy as hell.
It is.
The way this girl fucking just says like it is. Like what? Oof. Maybe some of these women just need some therapy, you know? Or self-reflection. Or they need a teacher. We're going to leave it here. You get the idea, you know? But can modern women afford equality? Well, I think they can. I think if you watch this, you follow me, maybe you see Kevin Samuels too. I don't know. I guess you're starting to get an idea of what equality really means, you know? And the answer is no and yes in a lot of cases. Different circumstances, but we understand each other. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, please. If you haven't checked out my other videos, check them out. I go into a reaction and discussion in each of them. This is I think a 7-part thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7-part series. So check out the next one. Check out the original video if you want, and the reaction if you haven't yet. But peace out. Love you. See ya.